Imagine standing in front of a statue so famous, so iconic, that people travel across the world just to catch a glimpse of it. Now picture the tension in the air, the silence of a crowd holding its breath, and then the sudden realization: this is not just a piece of marble, this is Michelangelo's David, one of the most celebrated masterpieces of the Renaissance, and it holds more secrets than most of us ever imagined. From the moment David was unveiled in Florence in 1504, the city changed forever. This wasn't simply a statue, it was a declaration of independence, a bold political statement, and a stunning example of human genius. Today, millions of visitors enter the Galleria dell'Accademia in Florence to see him. They snap pictures, they whisper in awe, and many don't even realize that David is more than what meets the eye. Behind his calm expression, behind his perfect proportions, lies a world of symbolism, hidden meanings, and fascinating mysteries. Let's start with the basics. Michelangelo was only 26 years old when he took on the challenge of carving David. The marble block itself had been abandoned for decades. It was huge, imperfect, and thought to be unusable. Other artists had looked at it and walked away, but Michelangelo, ambitious, determined, and perhaps a little stubborn, saw potential. For 2 years, from 1501 to 1504, he worked tirelessly, and what emerged from that flawed marble was nothing short of extraordinary. Now, let's talk about what makes David so powerful. At first glance, he's simply a young man, muscular, confident, standing in contrapposto, that famous stance where one leg carries the weight and the body looks relaxed yet ready. But here's the thing, Michelangelo chose to show David not after his victory over Goliath, like most artists, but right before. This moment of tension, the calm before the storm, is what gives the statue its electric presence. You can almost feel David's pulse, sense his thoughts, and share his courage. But there's more, much more. David became a symbol for the city of Florence itself. Back in the early 1500s, Florence was a small republic, constantly under threat from larger powers like Rome and France. David, the shepherd boy who defeated the giant, became the perfect metaphor, a small but determined city standing against giants. When Florentines looked at the statue, they didn't just see a biblical hero, they saw themselves. They saw hope, resilience, and defiance. And here's a secret that many visitors overlook: David's gaze is not random. If you stand in front of him, you'll notice his intense stare, his furrowed brow, his focus. He's looking toward Rome, toward the Vatican and the Medici, the powerful family who had been expelled from Florence at the time. This wasn't accidental. Michelangelo gave David a direction, a purpose. His eyes were a reminder: Florence will not bow. Now, let's get into the details, because the details are where Michelangelo's genius truly shines. Look closely at David's hands. They are huge compared to the rest of his body. This wasn't a mistake. The hands symbolize strength, the ability to act, the moment of decision. Renaissance viewers would have picked up on this instantly. And then there's his head, slightly larger than normal, emphasizing thought, intelligence, strategy. Michelangelo created not just a body, but a mind and a spirit carved in stone. And let's not forget his sling. It's barely visible, draped over his shoulder, almost hidden. Michelangelo didn't want the focus to be on weapons or violence. The real weapon here is the mind, the confidence, the faith, the courage of David. The sling becomes almost irrelevant, just a prop, because the real drama is happening in his face, in his gaze, in his stance. But here's something that really blows people's minds. David is not perfectly proportioned, at least, not in the traditional sense. Michelangelo intentionally distorted certain features, like the oversized head and hands, because the statue was meant to be seen from below. Originally, David was supposed to stand high above the ground, on the roofline of Florence's cathedral. Michelangelo sculpted him with that perspective in mind. So when you see him at eye level today in the Accademia, you're seeing him differently than Michelangelo intended, but somehow, it still works perfectly. Now, let's move to another fascinating layer of this story: the controversies. When David was unveiled in 1504, the Florentines were shocked. Not only was the statue enormous, over 17 feet tall, it was also completely nude. Yes, nudity was part of classical tradition, but to place such a massive naked figure in the center of the city was a bold, even provocative move. Some praised it as divine genius, others were scandalized. But once again, this was no accident. The nudity symbolized purity, courage, and the heroic ideal. Stripped of any armor or disguise, Florence was presenting itself as bold and unafraid, just like David. And then there's the matter of where David was placed. Initially, he was supposed to crown the cathedral, high and distant, but once the statue was finished, the city realized it was too magnificent to be hidden away. a special committee was formed, including artists like Leonardo da Vinci and Sandro Botticelli, to decide its location. Finally, they chose the Piazza della Signoria, right in front of the Palazzo Vecchio, Florence's town hall. This wasn't just a display, it was a declaration. The Republic of Florence, in all its strength, was standing guard. Now, let's talk about damage, because David's life hasn't been easy. Over the centuries, the statue has faced storms, riots, and even deliberate attacks. In 1527, during political turmoil, angry mobs threw stones at it, breaking one of the arms. Later, in 1991, a man attacked the statue with a hammer, damaging its toes. Even weather has been an enemy. Marble is fragile, and the years outdoors took their toll. That's why in 1873, David was moved indoors to the Accademia for protection. Today, a replica stands in the Piazza della Signoria, but the original rests safely inside. And yet, even in safety, David still faces challenges. Experts constantly monitor tiny cracks in the ankles, worried about the enormous weight of the statue pressing down. Imagine, over 6 tons of marble, standing for more than 500 years, still balancing on those feet. It's a miracle of engineering, but also a reminder of the fragility of great art. But what truly makes David eternal is not just the technical brilliance, it's the story. Every angle, every detail, every decision Michelangelo made carries meaning. This is not just stone, it's a narrative, a symbol, a living presence. Tourists may see a masterpiece, but scholars, artists, and Florentines see something deeper, the soul of a city carved in marble. And here's one more secret you might not know. David is slightly cross-eyed. Look closely and you'll see that his eyes don't quite line up perfectly. Some scholars believe this was intentional, designed to intensify his penetrating gaze when viewed from below. Others say it might be an optical illusion. Either way, it adds to the mystery, another little quirk that keeps us fascinated. Now, imagine yourself walking through the Accademia in Florence. The long corridor is lined with unfinished Michelangelo sculptures, the so-called prisoners, figures struggling to emerge from the stone. As you pass them, you feel Michelangelo's philosophy, that the figure already exists inside the marble, waiting to be freed. And at the very end of the hall, bathed in light, stands David. It's almost like a pilgrimage, a journey through Michelangelo's mind until you reach his crowning achievement. The moment you see David in that glowing space, surrounded by silence, you understand why this statue has haunted imaginations for centuries. So what is the secret life of Michelangelo's David? It's the life of a symbol, reborn with every generation. It's the story of a flawed marble block turned into a masterpiece. It's the political courage of a city carved into the body of a shepherd boy. It's the enduring reminder that art is never just decoration. It's power, it's message, it's hope. The next time you see David whether in Florence, in a photo, or in your imagination, remember that you're not just looking at marble. You're looking at a hero, a city's soul, and Michelangelo's genius frozen in time. And maybe, just maybe, you'll feel the same electricity that people felt in 1504 when the veil was first lifted. So, what do you think? Is David simply a beautiful statue, or is he something more? A living voice from the Renaissance that still speaks to us today? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to share this with anyone who loves art, history, or a good secret revealed.